so glad you're watching today. You know, I think I have something very special to share with you that I believe is going to transform your life from the inside out. I want to talk to you about your confidence. Your confidence level affects everything in your life. But first, before I get into that, I want to say a special thank you to all of you who've signed up for my brand new Vision 101. It's a course, well, it's a program, a 12-month program that we launched just this year, and we call it 12 Success Habits of Dream Achievers. Now, you know, if you know anything about me, I love to encourage you to go after your dreams because I believe that God has given every one of us a purpose, an assignment, a calling. There are things that you're supposed to pursue during your time on earth. And you know, there's certain things that you need to learn to implement in your life that will take you to your dreams. And I only know how to preach from experience, speak from experience, and so that's what we've put into this Vision 101 program. When you sign up for this, I like to call you a visionary. And my purpose in this is, you know, I'm always asking people, how many of you don't want to be where you're at today next year at this time? Seriously, 99 to 100% of the crowd raises their hands. However, most people will be in the same place next year at this time unless they get a plan for growth. You have to plan, strategically plan how you're going to change your life. And you know, I'm so convinced that your routine, if you change your routine, you'll change your whole life. So that's my purpose with this, is to help you change things in your daily routine, help you build your confidence. In fact, that's one of the lessons, is how to build your confidence. And I give you assignments for 21 days, do this. Things about conquering procrastination, things I've had to learn in my life about getting things done. Do it now. Stop delaying. Plan when you're going to do it. Set a time to go after your goals. Just all different types of topics, from organizing your house, your purse, your car, to organizing your life, time management, fitness, finances, every kind of topic you can imagine, but it's all things that I've had to apply in my life. So if you're interested in getting a plan for your growth, then sign up for Vision 101 and you'll get your first little booklet with a matching CD that you can get started with. So I wanted to talk to you about confidence because, like I said at the beginning, it affects every area of your life. It affects the career you choose, the relationships you pursue. It affects the way you carry yourself, the way you communicate, the friendships that you have around you. It affects even your relationship with God. It even affects the amount of money you make. Your level of confidence can affect every area of your life. You know, with your relationship with God, it affects even what you believe you can receive from God. Because if you don't see yourself as someone worthy of His love, valuable, significant to God, then you may not ever receive the amazing life that He has for you. So, you know, your confidence, you know, it's been said that you behave in a manner consistent with how you see yourself. When you see yourself a certain way, you act that way. If you see yourself as trashy, maybe you act trashy. If you see yourself as insignificant, then maybe you walk around just acting insignificant. But you have to change the way you see yourself in order to change the results you're getting in your life. And you know, I was reading a story about a guy named Victor who at 15 years old, he was told by his teacher that he wouldn't amount to much and he might as well drop out of school and learn a trade. Well, in this story, it said that because he was told he was an idiot, he acted like one for the next 17 years. But when he was 32 years old, he found out he had an IQ of 161. 161. It said since he discovered how smart he really is, he has written several books, secured several patents, he's a successful businessman, and he's chairman of the Mensa Society, where you have to have an IQ of 140 or higher. So, just proving the point that you behave in a manner consistent with how you see yourself. Well, you know, if you've heard any of my messages about self-esteem, self-image, things like that, lift your head, I had a very poor self-image. And there's no way I could do or pursue the dreams that God's put in my heart now if I hadn't changed the way I saw myself. Well, one of my keys to transforming my life was changing the way I speak about myself. And I want you to implement this in your life. I'm telling you, this is something God's the one who came up with. You know, when God wants something to change, He speaks it. When He wants a different result, He speaks it into the atmosphere. Well, you have to do the same thing. Your words are so powerful, and sometimes we just don't realize how powerful they are. You know, the Bible actually says that you can be snared or trapped by the words of your mouth. That means, you know, every time you say, I am so fat, then you are trapping yourself into the very thing you don't want happening in your life, staying fat. Every time you say you're ugly, you're old, you're aging, you're not, you know, you don't, everything you set your hand to fails, then you're trapping yourself into the very thing you don't want happening. So in 2007, I made this list of things to begin speaking over myself. Let me just give you an illustration. I wrote down, I just hand wrote this in my little journal, and I wrote, I am disciplined, spirit, soul, and body. I'm proactive. I'm highly focused on my dreams and goals. I'm confident. I'm in the best physical shape of my life. I'm highly organized. I'm successful. I'm an excellent leader and CEO. I'm beautiful inside and out. I'm known for my giving. I'm in the perfect will of God. I'm a best-selling author. I'm confident to speak on television and to live audiences. I'm wealthy. I attract God-inspired ideas that produce millions of dollars. I'm an expert in the message God's given me to share. I'm highly favored of God. And I just began speaking. I wrote all kinds of things down. And I began speaking them over my life every single morning. Not just like once a month and not January 1st. Every morning I would just go in my guest bedroom, speak these out of my mouth, and then when I'm traveling, I would take that little book with me in my hotel room, speak those out of my mouth, took like 3 minutes, and then go on. But you know what? It changes the way you see yourself. Why? Because you believe your own words more than anybody. And when you're constantly saying, I'm highly organized, I'm proactive, I'm successful, I'm disciplined, spirit, soul, and body, I'm highly favored of God, eventually you begin to expect that. You begin to believe that. I remember being in France, and I was getting ready to speak at the largest Christian church in that nation, in Paris. And I'm on the front row, and they're just about to introduce me. And my daughter Cassidy said, Mama, are you a little bit nervous? And you know what came out of my mouth? I'm confident to speak to live audiences. Why? Because I say that all the time. Well, I want you to make your own list. Write down those things that you believe. You know, and I have to tell you, when I began speaking these, they weren't happening in my life. But over time, I began to cooperate with my confessions. And that's exactly what can happen to you. But you have to speak it. I heard Joyce Meyer say, some things will never change in your life until you begin speaking them over your life. And I'm telling you, this is a huge confidence booster because you're speaking those things that are not as though they already are. And eventually, it's going to match up. So I challenge you to start making your own list, speak them out of your mouth. If you want to get an example of my list, you know, it's in the Vision 101 course, but I want you to speak those things that you're believing for in your life. So build your confidence from the inside out. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.